Hey, what are you guys all staring at? Wow. Low quality fans of a high quality Bruins team that is not a dub. That's right. Another winning streak has come to an end. That's got to make you feel a little better, right? We've had winning streaks of 5 games, 2 games, and 3 games. Think about this from my perspective over the past month, right? Whenever we lose, I have to switch jerseys for the next game. I haven't had a jersey only last 1 game since February 17th against the Islanders, and that was my Bork jersey back there. Every other jersey has made it a few games since then. That's a weird way to measure success, but it's the way I do it. Yeah, we lost. Yeah, there's some frustrating things. The refs kind of decided what they were going to call in this one. It was a rough and tough match, and the refs kind of did whatever they wanted. I think Wild fans would super agree with me. I'm sure both fans feel like they got the worst side of it, but we can all agree that the refereeing was really, really inconsistent tonight. Not the reason we lost. Not even close. We're playing a Wild team who's still pretty good. They're 3-6-1 in their last 10, though, so they've hit a bit of a rough patch. It happens to good teams. They are excellent at finishing, second in the league in shooting percentage. But lately, that's kind of all they're good at. Penalty kill and power play have been abysmal. We're going to kind of talk about that in a bit. Their overall stats for putting the puck in the net as far as like how many they actually put in, well, lately not great, and then they let a lot in behind them too. Here's the difference maker. We are without our captain, Mr. Patrice Bergeron. We are in the back half of a back-to-back, and we have been playing a ton of hockey lately. Every team has, but those are my excuses. I cannot sit here and lose my mind about the result of this game based on all the things going on around it. I just can't. I can't do it. Am I bummed because this has turned into a kind of a rivalry? Absolutely. Am I annoyed because they have the best third or potentially the best third line in the league? They call it the grief line. Great nickname. I really like it. They are a dirty line. And I think Wild fans would agree. They're straight up dirty. They plow through players. They cross-check in the back. They get people in the numbers. All game. And it's not done in a way where it's just abhorrent, terrible, crashing through injuring guys. They're just rough and tough customers who, once in a while, are going to cross that line. That's an awesome line to have on your team. It's just really fucking frustrating to play against because you hate them. Good for the Wild fans, man. Really good for them. That line is greasy. It's annoying. It crosses lines every other shift. And they're going to be trouble in the playoffs. Because right now, that line crushed us. I think they had something like a 95% plus expected goals for percentage against us. Brutal. There's a couple of reasons for it that we're going to get to. But enough praise for that Wild team because I really did have a lot of fun. A lot of fun with this game. Swayman's in net. He had a kind of a mixed bag of a night. We're seeing him come back to earth a little bit. That was kind of expected. Feels like the first game that we weren't favored in betting-wise. I check in on the odds. Feels like the first game that we weren't favored in a month. It really does. It feels like we've been the favorite team every single matchup since, probably Colorado, I guess, which was about 3 weeks ago. Bergeron is out. He's been dealing with a nagging injury. It's an arm injury, and now it is a potential risk of an infection. So they're holding him out for at least the next 2 games. As you know, with the way locker rooms are set up and with the gear that they wear, infections. Hockey players have to be careful with that kind of stuff because there's a lot of bacteria that gets passed around in a locker room, and that's really any sport. So you got to be really, really careful with that. Not just as a player, as like a human being, because infections can get nasty and that kind of stuff. So they're holding him out until that looks better. Not a big deal. Again, I didn't care about catching anyone in the standings. I'm okay with having our great guys rest a little bit. So Bergeron's out for a little while. What that results in is Studnicka is recalled, but he doesn't make it to the game on time, or at least that's the rumor. So, Nosek is going to slot in at the 1C, which is fine. He did really well in the face-off circle tonight, I believe, so that's good. He was okay up there. Bleed is going to slot in the 4th. I'm very comfortable with that as well. It's just not having Bergeron that I'm not comfortable with. It's not like those two jumping in and me being like, oh, God, we suck. It's if we were going to win this game on a back-to-back against a pretty decent Wild team that really wants to win, we kind of needed a full force, I think. We're about to get started talking about this game, but one thing beforehand, like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. That's getting predictable, isn't it? I'm going to have to shift that up. But trade deadline patience, please, guys. I know a bunch of moves are being made. I know the Panthers fell into the Sherratt trap. I know that Hurdle is off the board, although technically it was never on the board. I don't know. I feel like there was a real 50-50 on that one. We do not have these same assets. And if you want to blame Sweeney in front office for that, that's fine. I'm not going to judge you for that. We don't have the same assets as these teams that are really good now, but were fucking terrible for years, and that's how they got all the assets. Keep that in mind. We've been good for a while. Colorado 4 years ago was awful. Was it 4 or 5? Awful. Panthers, I mean, you know the Panthers. Calgary had some down years in the middle there. Like, these guys have more assets than us. Their core is younger than us. They have more to pull the trigger on stuff. We need to have patience, trust the front office, or at least root for the front office to do the right thing. Were you comfortable paying the price for any of the moves that got made already? Because I'm going to be honest with you. Nope. Not one of them. Not one of those trades made, especially the Sherratt one, is one that I'm going to sit there and go, dang, I wish the Bruins did that. I know there was the Manson one that people were like, how did we not get him? I wasn't super high on him, so I wasn't really concerned. Let's have a little patience as we get closer to this. We're very close. I expect Saturday and Sunday to be busy-ish, but I've already said this before. I don't think the Bruins are going to be doing a lot. I told you what I wanted to see, but if I was going to guess, it's going to be very, very little movement. Patience, though. Let's wait and see. Puck drops! And my heart's going crazy. 5:30 in. Minnesota is crushing us physically, but skill is on display all over the place. And this is actually the only part of the game where I feel like there was enough space for skill to be shown in that way, because then things started to collapse. But the second line, the Pasta Hall combination is going wild. Kaprizov is all over the place. Eriksson Ek is doing his thing. Greenway's barreling through everyone. It is a skill showdown. Fuck, is this matchup fun. But about 6 minutes in, Carlo's going to go for tripping. It's a weird trip. You almost look like knee on knee when you first saw it, and then it kind of looked like Carlo was just skating towards the puck and his back foot got him. I don't know. I had a hard time with this one, but a trip's a trip. Good call. Off we go to the penalty kill against a terrible power play. And it just, I mean, I don't know what to say about this. It looked like it was deflected to me. It's a blast from Kaprizov from the high slot. They're set up in our zone. You have to live with certain shots on a power play. And this looked like it got slightly deflected. Swayman never sees it. There's a ton of traffic in front of him. It's a great shot. If it wasn't deflected, it's a perfect shot. And if it was, it's a great bounce. It's 1-0 early in the game, about 6.5 minutes in. That's fine. That's fine. We're not going to get shut out by fucking Talbot. We're not getting shut out by Talbot. It's fine. About 9 minutes in, right after a commercial break, Freddie, DeHame, go at it. They're dropping gloves. They're chucking mitts and sucking tits. They're going for it. And the broadcasting crew immediately speculates it's because of the Kaprizov injury last game and the fighting in the last game. I just think Freddie was like, holy crap, we look like hell right now. We were kind of getting beat in a lot of ways. I'm going to give Freddie credit here, just being like, let's shed him, boys. Time for a Donnybrook. And boy, was it. Dehaime was mashing his fist into Freddie's skull for about 15 to 20 seconds. Freddie, I was literally, my girlfriend's standing right next to me during it, and she's just watching it, I'm watching it, I'm trying to stay calm and composed and cool and collected, and I just go, throw a punch! Do something! And then he does, and he starts beating the bejesus out of Dehaime. Here's the kicker. So a lot of people on Twitter, the cesspool that is Twitter, I'm on Twitter, follow me, we'll chat, it's the best place for us to communicate. So a lot of people say, well, Bruins fans are going to say Freddie won, Wild fans are going to say Dehaime won. Well, guess what, dumbass? Freddie won. I'm not a statistic. Freddie won. Freddie actually won. He kicked the crap out of him in the second half of that fight. He took a couple shots and then beat the bejesus out of him and got the final hit in that knocked Dehaime down. What do you want from me? Freddie won that fight. Well, I don't know how you see it a different way. And just because I'm a Bruins fan, and just because I'm biased, and just because I decide things and I want to believe them that way, doesn't mean that I'm not right. Freddie won that fight. Suck on that. 1 minute later, Howler's going to go for tripping, and I hate these calls because Greenway just steps on Howler's stick and falls over, and I really didn't like that one. But hey, back to the penalty kill. Great penalty kill this time. It's a little bad because Kaprizov almost immediately gets a breakaway, but Swayman stones him, and Swayman is part of the penalty kill, so we're going to give him credit there, but it's a good kill. And then we forget that Kaprizov's really good at hockey. Like we just forget. Here's the way this play goes. We have time and space in our defensive zone. It's about 5.5-ish minutes left of the period. Time and space on McAvoy's stick. Someone you should be real confident about, but we're going to have a conversation about that. McAvoy whips it between the winger and the defenseman, just directly between them. So Riley jumps up to get to the puck, but it gives the Wild time to come in and put pressure. So Riley has to come up and just smack it into the neutral zone. Turns into a scrum in the neutral zone, punches out towards the Wild side. Defenseman on the Wild side whips it perfectly to Kaprizov, who's behind McAvoy, because McAvoy just wasn't paying attention to him. Full breakaway. You give Kaprizov 2 breakaways. He's going to score on one of them. Just snipes top glove. 2-0. Just like that. McAvoy has been bad in his own zone. I'm just going to say it. The past couple weeks, offensively, we're going to talk about this at the end. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to talk about it now. Offensively, he's looked great. In this game, offensively, he was flying. But defensively, he's not paying attention. People are getting behind him. He's not taking the body. And his first passes in his movement of the puck around the defensive zone has been completely subpar to what we're used to. Is he the worst defender on the ice for us in the defensive zone? Not even close. But he is not up to his usual standard. And there's a lot of plays that are coming back against us that are legitimately bad plays. And this was one of them, and we got bit for it. That goal, even though all the other stuff that happened after it, is on McAvoy. He creates the initial thing that does the turnover. You know what I mean? And then he just forgets about their best player who's standing right next to him. Brutal. And at 2-0, with a team coming on a back-to-back without their captain, oh man, you're starting to think maybe this will get ugly. I'm not the only one who sat there and went, hopefully they can start to, get in front of Swayman and don't leave him out to dry completely. 3 minutes left, though. We need something. And all it takes is a good bounce. It's a basic dump in. It's a shot from the point that gets wrapped around. Freddie pinches on the left wall, picks up the puck cleanly off the wall, and throws an absolute heater on Talbot. And save is made. Puck gets bumped out. Big rebound. Perfect angle. Craig Smith is standing right there to bury it into the empty net. Freddie, with a beautiful, beautiful shot on net. I'm pretty sure it got to Talbot. Kept it low, and it was hard. That's a hard one to save without giving up a rebound, and it gets kicked out right to your boy. It's a good bounce. Good bounce all day. I'll take it. But Freddie deserves a ton of credit. Seems like a simple get it to the net kind of play, but the accuracy and the speed of that shows, to me, at least a play with purpose. It looked like intent to me to get a rebound in front of the net, and it worked. I'm going to give him a lot of credit on that. 2-1, new life, late in the first, and that's the way the period will end. 1:15 into the second period, Kaprizov goes for holding. Edzo, on the broadcast, immediately blames Marchand. Good stuff, Edzo, asshole. He spent like the rest of the game complimenting Marchand, which I thought was weird, but I think he realized he was being so harsh on Marchand that he had to like bring it back in a little bit. I do not like Edzo at all. 20 seconds into the power play. So you got to remember, Marchand was the one who drew the penalty. Well, he's the one who's going to finish it too. We get into the zone. Coyle just finds Marchand, who's in the high slot. He just whips it on net. This has got to be a save, but it gets below the glove. 2-2, early second, got to be a save there. That's brutal to give up. But hey, we're going to take it. On a night where we just don't have it, we need to take every bounce we can get. 11:42 left in the period. Smith, slashing, penalty kill. We have a great penalty kill. A 2-on-1, no dice, a bleed breakaway off the bar and out. Great penalty kill. More shorthand chances for us than power play chances for them. We kill it. We're going to go to the third, tied 2-2. This felt like a game we were losing going into the third. I had confidence. We were just so tired. We're just so gassed. And it took about 2 minutes into the third for me to realize we're gassed. We ended up getting outshot 19-9 in the third, and we had basically 4 shots on net through the whole period until the end where we attempted to put something together. 12:15 left in the game. It's a massive pileup in front of Swayman. Swayman comes out to attack. Puck is getting moved around. It stays out of the net because of a miraculous diving save by DeBrusk with his stick. It's a slow-moving puck, but it's a great play by him to come and smack it out. Puck gets bumped out and cycled by the Minnesota Wild. Goes up to the right point. Swayman, again, attacks out far. I think this was a mistake by Swayman to get that far out. I don't want you deep in your net for those, but he was outside the crease at this point. Shot comes in on him, takes some bounces, gets deflected, and it ends up on Greenway's stick, who has a wide open net. Swayman can't get there because Clifton crushed Eriksson Ek into Swayman. So they're all down in a pile. Swayman almost gets it, but not enough there. It was definitely not goalie interference. Not only was Swayman, I'm pretty sure, outside of the crease, but Clifton initiated the contact, which initiated the contact. I wouldn't have challenged that at all. I would not have challenged that because I would have been damn sure we would have lost that challenge. That one looked pretty cut and dry to me. And before you say, well, you should challenge anyway because you never know because the inconsistencies are there, and you have a valid point with that, this one felt obvious, and if you think it's obvious and you need a lot to overturn it, you really don't want to take that penalty with half a period left and you're down by a goal. There will be some offsetting penalties from Smith and Merrill. Doesn't really mean anything for us. Hartman gets the empty netter. 4-2. That's your final game notes. I said McAvoy has been really good in the offensive zone. Really porous in the defensive zone. And I'm not really sure what's going on with him. I think we're just at that point of the season where it's hard to keep things a little, fresh and exciting. I think you're going to have some of these mental lapses. Is that an excuse? No, you shouldn't have them. You are our number one defenseman by a long shot. He needs to improve on that. But the turnovers and such, I think they took the foot off the gas tonight. I think they're tired. And I think McAvoy is in a weird little slump in the defensive zone. The third line needed to come up huge for us in this game. They didn't. And they had that one goal, which was great. Coyle got crushed in the faceoff circle. He won 1 out of every 4 faceoffs. I think he took 20 of them. That's brutal. It's really hard for a line to get going when 3 out of every 4 shifts they start out there, and I don't mean off the bench, of course, that's a thing too, where you change on the fly. But when you're starting on the ice, if 3 out of 4 times you're on your heels, really hard to get into a rhythm with that. That was a tough night for him in the faceoff circle, and I think it had a massive effect on this game. All right, guys, it does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. We have a recording of the Short Shift podcast tomorrow night, which should have a ton of trade deadline talk. It should be a pretty long one. We'll talk about some Bruins, but we're probably going to talk majority about what we're looking at for Monday. That should be fun. For those of you who have supported the Short Shift podcast, I really appreciate it. You can find it wherever you get your podcast needs. Thomas and Andrew are great guys. They're a lot of fun. Also, Join the Discord if you're not already in there. There's some people who are really active. I know I haven't been the most active person yet. I struggle with my schedule with this. I work a lot during the day, and then at night I'm doing this a lot, so I'm not always available in there, but I'm definitely trying to be better about it, so just know that. Tell me which jersey I should wear next, because we need to start another win streak. Go Bees!